Welcome to the second part of Module 5. In this presentation, we will discuss the anatomy of the digestive accessory organs like salivary gland, liver, and pancreas. Note that they are classified as accessory to the alimentary canal because they function in support to the digestive functions of the entire digestive system. The salivary gland is composed of all glands that pour their secretion into the oral cavity. They include both major and minor salivary gland. The parotid gland lies at the junction of the head and neck, overlying at the basal portion of the auricular cartilage. The gland is dark fresh in color with coarse lobulation. The mandibular gland is an ovoid body lying largely between the linguofacial and maxillary veins, just caudal to the angle of the mandible. While the sublingual gland is composed of two. We have the monostomatic and the polystomatic. In monostomatic sublingual gland, all the secretions enter the oral cavity via one opening, the sublingual caruncle located adjacent to the rostral lingual frenulum. The polystomatic sublingual gland is composed of 6 to 12 lobes and release their secretion by several ducts. The zygomatic gland or orbital gland is located ventromedial to the zygomatic arc. It is globar or pyramidal in shape. It is found only in dogs and cats. It represents a caudal condensation of the largely unilobulated dorsal buccal glands of other mammals. Minor salivary glands include the labial, buccal, molar, lingual, and palatine gland. Grossly, here is the parotid salivary gland located ventral to the ear, and the mandibular salivary gland ventral to the parotid gland near the angle of the mandible. The next organ is the liver. The liver is the largest gland in the body with both endocrine and exocrine function. The fresh liver is deep red in color, firm in consistency but friable. The liver is always located immediately caudal to the diaphragm, as you can see in this image. Associated with the liver is the gallbladder where the bile is being stored. There are also two surfaces that you need to identify. Diaphragmatic or parietal surface is always the convex and faces the diaphragm, while the visceral surface is irregularly concave and faces the stomach, duodenum, pancreas, and the right kidney. Generally, the liver is grossly divided into 4 major lobes. That includes the left hepatic lobe, the right hepatic lobe, the caudate hepatic lobe, and the quadrate hepatic lobe. The left and right hepatic lobes are further subdivided into sublobes called lateral and medial hepatic lobes. Thus, the liver has a left lateral hepatic lobe, left medial hepatic lobe, right lateral hepatic lobe, and a right medial hepatic lobe. Likewise, the caudate lobe is further subdivided into processes forming a papillary process and a caudate process, while the quadrate hepatic lobe remains undivided. Note that at the dorsal portion of the liver runs through the caudal vena cava. The porta is the area where the vessels and nerves enter the organ at the visceral surface. The liver is held in place by several peritoneal attachments. There are 5 known peritoneal attachments, and let us locate them in the liver. The first is the coronary ligament. Here is the coronary ligament. Actually, this is not a true peritoneal ligament because the 2 sheets of peritoneum that form it are not in the form of a fold but are irregularly separated. The next are the 2 triangular ligaments, the right triangular ligament and the left triangular ligament. The right triangular ligament extends between the diaphragm and the dorsal part of the right lateral lobe, while the left triangular ligament runs from the left lateral lobe to the diaphragm. The falciform ligament is located between the right and the left medial lobes extending to the coronary ligament. And finally, the hepatorenal ligament is a delicate peritoneal fold that extends from the medial portion of the renal fossa to the ventral surface of the right kidney. However, this hepatorenal ligament is not constant in dogs. One of the main functions of the liver for the digestive system is the production of bile. This bile is important for the emulsification of fats ingested by the animal. Take note that the bile is produced by the liver and not by the gallbladder. The bile is only being stored at the gallbladder. The bile leaves the liver through hepatic ducts, which join the cystic duct from the gallbladder to form the common bile duct, which then passes to the proximal duodenum into the lumen, to which it opens in common with the pancreatic duct on the major duodenal papilla. Finally, we have the pancreas. Pancreas is an irregularly lobulated organ that lies adjacent to the proximal duodenum and frequently abuts the stomach, the caudal vena cava, and caudal part of the liver as well. It has both endocrine and exocrine functions. It is yellowish-gray when preserved, while pinkish-gray in life. It has a left and right lobe and a body which connects the two lobes. The body of the pancreas unites the two lobes at an angle of 45 degrees. The left lobe lies in deep wall of the greater omentum, while the right lobe lies in the mesoduodenum or in contact with the dorsal portion of the right abdominal wall. The pancreatic duct or the ventral duct or duct of Wirsung is the more cranial and usually the smaller ducts. It opens into the small elevation within the duodenum called the major duodenal papilla, in common with the bile duct from the liver. Accessory pancreatic duct or the dorsal duct, or commonly known as the duct of Santorini, despite the name, is the main conduit of the gland. This is always present or constant. This is larger and opens on the minor duodenal papilla. And that ends our discussion on the accessory digestive organs and on the entire module of the digestive system. After finishing this course, you are now ready to take the assessment prepared for this module.